Why, hello there, and welcome to Universal Orlando Resort yet again for Halloween Horror Nights night number 3. Now, the thing about this is the night is over. I already had night number 3. It's done. My Halloween Horror Nights adventure for 2024 is over. Now, the other night, night number 2, talked about the Scare Zone, showed them a little bit. Tonight I wanted to talk about the houses, but unfortunately you can't record inside the houses, so I don't really have anything to show that I can record tonight. So we're just going to kind of talk about them a little bit, and I'm going to see what pictures we can find online. Yeah, let's talk about it. Houses. Now let me start by saying every one of these houses was good. I enjoyed all of them, and honestly, from like 5th place back, this order could have changed at any time, because every time you do a run, you might have a better run. Sometimes the houses aren't that good, and then you have a good run and it's really good. But yeah, that being said, number 10, Major Sweets Candy Factory. Located back by Fast and Furious. The official description: you've been invited to chaperone a field trip to a candy factory, but this sweet tour is about to turn sour when free samples transform the kids into candy-coated killers wielding sharpened candies. This house was fun. It smelled like a candy factory, so there's that. It's just, I don't know, I overall didn't feel the story going through. I could do a little more research, or I should have done a little more research, and this was the least visited house we did as well. So again, a good run could have changed it, but that's my number 10, Major Sweets. Number 9, the Museum Deadly Exhibit. Located in Sprung Tent 1, you decide to visit the new folklore museum exhibit, The Rotting Stone, when an evil escapes from within, destroying everything in its path. This one I really did enjoy. It was a lot of fun. The walking through the museum, it was themed wonderful. Like it looked like museum exhibits, and they were just coming alive due to the rotting stone. And yeah, it was a good one. Like I said, all these were good. I wasn't really disappointed by any of them this year. It's just it ranked here on the list, the museum. Number 8, Universal Monsters Eternal Bloodlines. Located in Sprung Tent number 3. Join Saskia Van Helsing and the Bride of Frankenstein as they faced off against Dracula's daughter and her monstrous alliance. I wanted to put this one a little higher on the list, and I feel like we never got a really good run. The theming was excellent. The storyline, I was a little lost at first, and then I figured it out, I think, on our second run, what was actually going on. I don't know, it felt really low on the list. I wanted it to be higher, but again, I think it was just due to bad runs. This probably did deserve to be a little bit higher on the list. Number 7, Triplets of Terror. In Soundstage 24, you're invited to the Barmy Triplets Birthday Bash. But beware, they celebrate by recreating their family's murders. Prepare for a gory gathering. This one probably should be lower on the list, to be honest. We got a couple good runs, and that really boosted it up. Again, another one I was a little confused with the story the first time I went through. Then once I realized what was going on, it immediately was much better, because I realized what was happening. But yeah, Triplets of Terror. Number 6, Goblin's Feast. Located in Sprung Tent 4, visit a goblin village where hordes of bloodthirsty goblins, orcs, hobgoblins, and witches would love to have you for dinner. Also, there was one of them that looked like Dobby. I know it wasn't Dobby, but every time I saw him, I was like, Dobby! It was a good time. I did like this one. Theming was excellent. Scares were good. Fun time. Goblin's Feast. Number 5, Monstruous, the Monsters of Latin American, located in Sound Stage 23. It's going to be a little tough to read this description. I can't speak the language. But 10 Quedadoda, I don't know what that says, I'm sorry. With La Muerta as your guide, you'll be asking for mercy from these 3 terrifying monsters, the blood-sucking... My goodness! They couldn't have picked easier names for these things. Talahupuchi, an owl-faced witch, La Lacuza, and bone-ripping El Simon. This one, a little disturbing. Spoiler alert. Although the event's about over, when you walk through, they're eating a bunch of babies. They're just eating babies all over the place. It's crazy. It's kind of like in a house later when you walk in, it's like, he's got your baby, but a different house. Now, overall, this house does rank lower on the list. However, it is the top of all these houses just because of the one monster. It was amazing. It was like a puppet, an animatronic. It was this giant bird owl. It was fantastic. I wanted to do the house over and over just to see that thing, and that's all. Now, like I said, all of those houses from 5th place down, very, very close. There wasn't a definite bad one. None of the houses were bad. I've said that multiple times. It's just, that's the order I'm gonna give it, and I'm sticking to it. Now, from here up was definitely a little bit clearer as far as my favorites. Starting with number 4, Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, located in Soundstage 23. In this bone-chilling haunted house inspired by the film Ghostbusters Frozen Empire, the Ghostbusters must team up to save the world from a second ice age. A new specter, Garaka, has escaped from an ancient artifact. He'll stop you cold with a whole army of ghosts. Try not to freeze in fear as you dodge spears of ice, and he freezes people solid before your eyes. Now, this house I did not find scary at all, but it was beautiful. It was like walking through the sets of the movie. The movie, definitely not my favorite Ghostbusters film. However, it wasn't bad. It was all right. The house was good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Ghostbusters, one of my favorite franchises of all time. So to be able to walk through and see Hook and Ladder 8, you know, it's I've been to the real one multiple times, but to see it recreated in a soundstage, there was also a hilarious animatronic of Slimer. He looked very awkward and out of place, but it made me laugh every time. So good times. Number 3, A Quiet Place, located in Soundstage 22. Silence your screams if you want to survive this terrifying post-apocalyptic world based on the films A Quiet Place and A Quiet Place Part 2. Like the Abbott family, you must keep quiet as you travel from the farmhouse to the woods to the foundry. As soon as you make a sound, monstrous creatures who can hear the slightest noise will hunt you down and silence you for good. This house was awesome. The monsters, the giant puppets, animatronics, whichever of the two they were, absolutely fantastic, and there was plenty of them. So you walk through both The Quiet Place Part 1 and Part 2, and this was a good house. It was absolutely phenomenal. Good times. My ranking number 2, an original, Slaughter Cinema 2, located in Sprung Tent. Number 2. If you're dying for a B-movie horror marathon, head to the Cary Drive-In, scream through scenes from creature features, grindhouse gore, spaghetti westerns, and more. This concept I love. Now, the first Slaughter Cinema was actually, I believe it took place in 2018, which was actually the first HHN event that I attended, and I loved it then. I love it even more now. The concept is really cool. So you go to the Cary Drive-In, located in Cary, Ohio, and you go through a bunch of different movies, and it's such a fun time. It's so good. Some of the movies are silly and fun. Some of them are creepy. Some of them are just amazing. I'd like to actually see some of these movies, and that leaves just one left. And I hate to say that the IPs are overall better, because they're not. They're not every year. Sometimes my favorite house is not an IP and it is an original. But this year, Insidious, The Further, definitely took number 1. Soundstage number 24. Don't get trapped in The Further as terrifying demons try to ensnare you. The red-faced demon will lure you into his lair behind the red door so he can process your living body, and Keyface will unlock your fears with his key-tipped fingers to keep your soul trapped in The Further forever. It's funny, they didn't mention the other ghosts, so this house was phenomenal. I really don't get scared in these houses. I more admire the sets, the costumes, the jump scares. Sometimes I do jump. I'm not saying I don't jump because it's loud in there, but I'm not scared. Like, I like to walk through them. I like to look at them. I'd like to go through these houses as slow as possible, just to take in all the detail you can. And the Insidious house this year had so much detail from the movies, and the costumes were so good. It's just, they had all the ghosts. The official description that I read there mentions the key ghost and the demon, but the old woman, the old man with the oxygen mask, I'm not sure their names off the top of my head, I'm sorry, but just the costumes were so good. They looked so good. The jumps were timed amazing. We actually could have done this house one more time, but we opted not to because the last run that we did was perfect. We got every jump, every scare. There's a section at the end where you're walking through and there's red curtains on both sides, and the demon just keeps popping out just over and over and over, and it's so good. Like, it's so fantastic. And this house was phenomenal. This might be one of my favorite ones of HHN of all time, to be honest. It was just so good. If I could just keep going through it over and over and over forever, it'd be fantastic. But yeah, that's the top 10. That is my top 10. Now, everyone has their own opinion. Everyone has their own runs. Everyone likes different things. But that's my top 10 for HHN 33 of 2024. Now, I am thinking about doing a little bit more of a deep dive into each house. If anyone's interested in that, let me know if I should take the time to kind of do like a video per house and kind of look up all the backstage stuff, all the rooms, all that you walk through. Yeah, if you're interested in that, let me know, at least for a couple of them. Maybe not all of them, but a couple of them, like Insidious, because it's just so good. On a complete side note, this is what I was looking at while I was talking to you. It is so beautiful. That sums it up. Halloween Horror Nights 2024. Halloween Horror Nights HHN 33. It was a good one. It was fun. If you enjoyed the video, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel. We do lots of filming locations, travel videos, and random things from time to time. And until next time, be good, have fun, and learn something.